It is my pleasure to stand before you and introduce to you our guest speaker for tonight and our special guest for tonight, Jennifer Arnold. Dr. Jennifer Arnold, who by profession is a neonatologist. For those of you who don't know, that's a pediatrician who takes care of newborns, so all the preemie babies and the not so preemie ones that are also sick. Jennifer, however, caught my attention, not because she's a neonatologist, I have one of those at home, but because Jennifer has become one of those nationally recognized advocates for medically fragile children. Jennifer, in her spare time, other than being on television as the star of Little Couple with her husband Bill, Jennifer also makes time to speak in many capacities across the country on behalf of medically fragile children. Jennifer is a member of the Speak Now for Kids advisory group and provides critical leadership for this organization across many spans. It's a group that involves many people from different children's hospitals that speak on behalf of children's causes. And Jennifer has recently, I was actually excited when I saw information about Jennifer when she spoke on the Hill. Jennifer was invited to Washington, D.C., along with her family, Bill and the children, Will and Zoe. And they went for this Family Advocacy Day organized by the Children's Hospital, Children's National Hospital, Children's Hospital Association, which used to be called National Association of Children's Hospitals. And in this capacity, again, she was speaking on behalf of the most vulnerable in our community. Ladies and gentlemen, Jennifer has come to us tonight from Texas, in spite of this weather, and we're just excited that she even made it here. Jennifer and Bill are not exactly thrilled about the weather today. We would have preferred to order something different for them, but this is the Midwest, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, Jennifer Arnold.
Thank you so much, and thank you for that lovely introduction. Oh my goodness, you know, when Umi first called me, 6 or 7 months ago now, and said, "I think you remember meeting me." I said, "Yes, I do, and I would like to invite you to come speak at a benefit that we're hosting for a Rosie's Place." I was honored and thrilled. Didn't know how I was going to make it to South Bend, but we made it because I thought, February, South Bend, what's Bill going to say? I got a little nervous, but I was definitely thrilled and honored to be here and to be invited, so thank you very much. And today I actually had the pleasure to visit a Rosie's Place, and oh my goodness, you guys have built an amazing not only facility, but a community for essentially a group of individuals, families, kids, who need so much tender love, care, and support, and you have built that with a Rosie's Place, and I think it's absolutely remarkable. It's something that I'm hoping we can bring to Texas one day. I think everybody needs a Rosie's Place. So it's truly, yep. It is truly something that I'm very passionate about, raising awareness and advocacy for kids with medical fragility, complexity, however you want to call it. But there are so many of our patients that I take care of, kids that I know, having been a child who grew up in the hospital many days, many months. It's a big stress for families, and it's something that I don't think, unless you're going through it, you quite understand how it affects a family. And I think this is something that what you guys are doing is going to make a huge difference for the families and the kids that you serve, and it's something that I'm very passionate about. Well, why am I passionate about it? I myself was a child growing up with a skeletal dysplasia. So I have spondyloepiphyseal dysplasia, which is a type of dwarfism that results in short stature, but also a lot of orthopedic complications. So while I have, certain medical complexities growing up, I actually had a very supportive family and was able to sort of feel like I could do anything I wanted. And that's because I had a lot of support despite the orthopedic and many, many surgeries that I went through. So for that reason, I know that many of the parents in this room are telling their children that they can do whatever it is they want and supporting them to try and give them the opportunity to the best, most happy and productive life possible. And that is a true gift to your kids. And so I'd like to make a round of applause to all the parents here. So myself, as a child growing up with medical complexity, I feel that what you are doing is important and actually led me to my career as a physician. And so now I have the opportunity to take care of kids. Many of the babies that we take care of also go home with medical complexity. And that is something that I see my patients going home and having to deal with, and it's not easy, but it's also a privilege and an honor. I know my parents felt that way. I know myself as a parent feels that way, and I know many of our families that we take care of feel that way as well. And so becoming a physician and being a part of the team that takes care of kids with medical complexity is pretty remarkable. But I've seen a need. I've seen a need for kids to get care beyond the hospital. I also see a need for kids to get care even within the hospital that's more coordinated and supportive. And I think we all have a lot of work in this area to do. I don't know if you know this, but there are actually 2 million children, and that number is growing every year, who actually are considered to be medical complex in this country. Yet, really, in terms of research in medicine, supportive services, the support that this patient population gets is less than 5%. And so it's astounding to me that this is an amazing group of kids, an amazing group of families with not a lot of resources. And so for that reason, that's why I'm so passionate about being an advocate at the legislative level, at the medical level, at the research level, and every level, because we have an obligation to make a difference here. So as a physician, I also have found that I am now a parent. So I'm a patient, a physician, now a parent of children who have a certain level of medical complexity. Both of our children have a skeletal dysplasia like Bill and I. And while their skeletal dysplasia is different than mine, and I'm very hopeful that they won't have to endure nearly as many surgeries as my husband Bill or I have had to, we do know that they will face some medical complications and orthopedic challenges. And it's because of this, now that I see through the eyes of a parent, how stressful that can be. And so when I visited Rosie's place today, and I saw the families and the parents spending time with the other care providers, meeting each other, and having that sort of bond with each other, I realized as a parent how important that is. And that wasn't quite clear to me as a physician or as the patient. And so one of the things that I wanted to point out that I was so impressed with at Rosie's Place is not only are you providing support, are you giving respite care to families who really need it, but you're also making bonds, relationships in a community. And I think that's what makes us stronger. And so because children with complex medical needs are a group that are still underrepresented in all areas of healthcare, I'm very excited to see what you're doing. And I'm hoping that everybody has a Rosie's Place. Funny enough, today, I was getting on the plane to come here. Not sure if I'd make it, by the way. But I did make it into Chicago. And on the way, one of the board of trustee members was actually at the airport with me. And he said, "Hey, Jennifer, how are you? Where are you off to?" And I mentioned where I was coming. And I said, "I'm going to be able to be at the event for a great place called a Rosie's Place." And I told him briefly what it was. And I said, we should do this here in Houston. I don't know if he was happy to hear from me on that at the airport, but nonetheless, what you guys are doing is remarkable, and getting the word out is going to help so many other places to be able to put their efforts together, to come together like you guys have, to support organizations that are going to support our families and our patients who are dealing with medical complexity. So as a parent, as a clinician, and even a former patient myself, this work is so important, and I am amazed by all of you that are here despite the weather to support a Rosie's Place. I'm in awe of the work of Rosie's Place, And I think what you're doing is going to be a tremendous value to your families, to your patients, and to your community. And it's really going to take some time, I think, before everybody has a place like a Rosie's Place, but I do believe in my heart of hearts that over time we will be able to support our families with more than just the medical care in the hospital, but all the other things that are involved in taking care of a patient outside of the hospital, to keep them out of the hospital. One of the things that I do as a physician is I also teach. I teach a lot at our hospital, and I teach with something called simulation. Anybody here heard of simulation? You can raise your hand. I don't know if I can see. So it's, these very high-tech mannequins or dummies. They don't like to be called dummies, but, they're really not very smart, but they help us become smarter. And we actually train healthcare providers in the hospital on very high-risk or complicated situations. Well, I've also found that many parents of children who have complex medical needs really become healthcare providers when they go home. And so we've started training parents and caregivers before they go home on high-risk situations so that they're better prepared to care for their children at home. So my point of sharing that example to you is that the opportunities to help create a community of children that we are so in awe of, and to support them and to support our families are endless. So with that, I'm going to end, and I really thank you all for your time and for inviting me to be here. And I hope that someday I'm coming back to tell you we have a place like a Rosie's Place where I come from. Thank you.